features that we're going to actually demo for you. For more information in regards to the August release, you'll be able to go on our PerfectMind website, go to our blog page, and we actually have release notes for every single release that you likely have seen. Some of you guys have also received this information via email as well. If you click on new features for a month of August, you'll be able to see a brief description of every single feature, preview it, and also access the help files related to them. Okay, on that note, we're going to start on our first features. As usual, we're going to divide essentially the webinar today into two different sections. The first section would be functionality that will be available for all customers, no matter of the package and the solution that you have. And at the end of the webinar, we're going to cover functionality that's specific to our enterprise solution for specifically Parks and Rec and municipalities. All right, so first feature is a feature called account statements. We've had over the years and over the months always requests for customers to be able to pull a statement for an individual. This comes up handy if that individual wants to submit taxes at the end of the year. They want to know how much is they have paid, and also in terms of cases that maybe perhaps it's a legal matter, you do actually need to find information related to what that individual has paid you over the specific period of time to provide the payment information to the customer. So what we have done, we've actually introduced a new report called account statements. Customer and account statement. This is a report that you can find under accounting folder, and you will be able to run it for any range of date, as you can see on top. You can so you can say, for example, from July 1st up until, or we're going to do a longer path from January 1st up until August 15th, which is today. You then have an ability to search for a certain ID number. So ID number that represents that customer or that member. From there on, you will be able to group by the customer name. So in case you're actually pulling an entire family, you will be able to group it by customer, which are the individuals under that family. You will also be able to group it based on transaction ID. If you want to see the payments related to certain transactions together, so perhaps payments related to a certain membership together, you will be able to group it that way. And lastly, you will be able to decide to only show transactions that have a due amount, so they're overdue. Perhaps this is a statement that you want to provide your customers that have owing balance, or you can actually choose to show all transaction information. Stage, we're just going to click preview, and you will be able to see the information of all the actual payments that the customer has made, the transactions related to them, and also if it's a debit or a credit amount, and the complete balance. So very good summary, and can actually satisfy many business cases. Now what we wanted to do, we wanted to also make this functionality a little bit easier for you to use as well. So we didn't just rely on the report, we wanted to actually provide you the ability to run this report for a certain individual faster and quicker versus coming here and searching for an ID number. So what we've also done, we've actually introduced a new button within the customer section. You will be able to select an individual or go into their file, and from the buttons that's available to you on top, depending on permission, you will be able to see a new button called Run Statement. If you click this button, what we will do on a new tab, we'll actually populate the ID number of that individual and show you the proper report, and you will be able to adjust that report if needed. Okay. So moving on to the next feature that we have, it's a feature that we've already had part of PerfectMind, but we wanted to actually improve it and provide more functionality. Over the past few months that we've had released a feature, the digital signature feature, we've received many feedbacks, all valid feedbacks as well. We received feedbacks that the customers are not able to identify where they need to sign. So depending on the template that you had created, at times you had to perhaps put a box around the area that you had the digital signature merge field, or we've had customers even created tables and putting a background color of yellow to be able to better identify what that area is. So that was one of the feedback. The second feedback was that the customers did not have enough space to be able to sign with ease, and they were finding themselves having a hard time to properly sign within the area that allowed the digital signature. And overall was a lot of usability feedback that we received. So we want to actually improve the functionality and improve the usability of that feature. So moving forward, any digital, any agreement or document that you have that has a digital signature field within it, it will still function the exact same way. However, you will notice some improvements. Where we have a digital signature field moving forward, you actually see these blue boxes identifying where the customer needs to sign. Also, as you can read, it lists click to sign. So what this does, by clicking on that box, it actually opens up a bigger tab to ensuring that the customer has enough space and also can identify where to sign. Another functionality that we have now with this tool release is ability for you to just reset one box at a time. In the past, if you had 3 digital signatures like the example that you see, the customer does a perfect signature on the first and second box, but on the third box they incorrectly sign. They had to actually reset the entire document and start from scratch. So now by me signing, I will be able to completely reset it, and I can re-sign whatever that signature is. And as you can see, I can clearly see the signature populate within the box, and I can move on to the next box. And if this value was incorrect, I can redo that box only. So much better improvements, much better usability to allowing your customers to be able to interact with these documents a little bit easier. The same usability will also be delivered on send to sign module. So if you actually choose to email this document to one of your customers, and your customer is at home or on their mobile device and wanting to actually complete the signature, they would go to the same exact experience as well, making the experience a lot easier for them, and increasing the probability of them being able to complete the signatures without any technical challenges. But we also wanted to take this functionality, which is again the digital signature, to the next level as well. I've been at client sites, and I've also spoken with many customers, and they've informed me of some of the challenges that they had with the flow of getting an individual to sign a document. Now that document can be a waiver, that document can be a membership agreement like the one that we're actually viewing here, or it could have been maybe a facility contract. Any really custom document that you have a digital signature field on. So what was a typical process, at a site that I would go visit, you would see an individual customers approaching the front desk, purchasing the membership, and at some point within the process, the monitor has to be moved to face the customer, and the customer would have to take a mouse and be able to actually trace a signature. In some sites which were a little bit more advanced or had more access to more tools and hardware, they had tablets that you're purchasing the membership through the tablets and then bringing up the membership agreement and passing it to the individual to complete the signature. As I mentioned, we wanted to actually take this to the next level, improve the functionality, be able to provide you better tools so you can actually not break your flow and not break the process or having those odd conversations or odd actions with the customer. So we've introduced a new function called Share with Device. This function gives you, by introducing this function, now you actually have a brand new menu option on the client called self-signature. This is a feature that works very similar to, self-check-in. So what it does by clicking on this option, the system will log you out of PerfectMind and will open up a screen as such. Sorry. This is how the screen will look like. So it will be branded with your logo, and it'll just be reading this, essentially text, which is ready to share documents. So what you can do in terms of your business, what you are able to actually have this screen on a tablet at all times. Have this screen bookmarked so you can easily access it, the URL. Or actually have it as one of the buttons if you have an iPad or an Android device right on the screen, so you can easily pull up this screen at any given time. Now what happens is any document that you bring up using the system, you can choose to share with device. So what it does, if I click share with device, and it says document sharing is in progress, to click for an updated version of the document, click refresh. So what happens now on this screen, which is my client facing, if I click refresh, I get a copy of that document, and in a perfect scenario, this tablet is already on the customer hands, and they will be able to complete their signatures. And press submit. Now the document has been signed on this side, and if I click refresh on the admin side, I think we're on a different database. All right, we're going to try this again because I think we're in a different database, which just didn't happen. But you will actually see the latest version of that document. All right, so we're going to try again. We're going to go into the self-signature section. I'm going to just open this up in a different window or a different browser so we can show you both the admin side and also the customer side. All right. So we're gonna go here, and sorry I'm jumping around to two different tabs. I'm trying to actually get you guys the best example so you can relate to it and kind of see yourself using that in future. So I'm just going to go into another customer, click a print document, share it with the device, and we should see it now on the screen. Complete the signature. Press submit. Very well. As you can see here, now the document has been saved on the customer's file, so it's under my name now as one of the members. The document is basically signed and ready to be used. The other kind of a cool business case that you have with this is ability for you to send multiple documents at the same time as well. So perhaps this individual needs to sign a membership agreement, a waiver, or agreement for different individuals in their family. So we're going to do that as well, that scenario. So I'm going to click Share to Sign on the first document. And I'm going to go back here, and on the second document, which is a complete different document, I'm also going to say Share to Device. And what happens if I come to this screen? Now you can see a line item per document that I saved. What we do by default, we show you the document name and for the individual customer. So perhaps you have multiple people working, sending documents to this tablet, and you will be able to see the different documents that has been sent, and you will be able to instruct your customer to just click on the document that has their name in front of it, and they will be able to complete the signature as we discussed. So a very great feature, very useful. We've already have a lot of positive feedbacks in regards to this functionality, as we know it could make your day-to-day life a little bit easier. All right. The next functionality that we have is a tool that we've already had as part of PerfectMind, but we just wanted to actually take it to the next level and be able to improve the functionality of that tool. So as you guys are aware, for every program that you have available to you, so every event that you go in, we've had historically buttons here where you had the ability to be able to print a document. Perhaps you want to print instructions or print a waiver for the customer to sign, or any type of information or merge document that you want to create. As you know, we have ability under manage documents for you to create any type of custom document and be able to add information or merge fields to be able to be populated automatically depending on the attendee's information. We've also had the ability for you to send voice messages or SMS messages to your customers, and also ability for you to send emails. So perhaps you want to send an email to all the people who've attended or didn't attend, and those were the criteria that we've had. So we historically had booked, canceled, all. So booked are all the individuals that were booked to come to the class but have not been marked as attended. Canceled, obviously anyone that has been canceled. All is everyone that's in some way or sort related to this event, and also attended if you have actually had customers who were attended to the event. But this wasn't enough. We've actually had feedback from customers to give you the ability to pick and choose who you want to communicate with or who you want to actually send or print a document for. So now for all the options from email to SMS to even print function, we've introduced a new option called custom. By you clicking the custom button, you will see a list of attendees of the event, and you can pick and choose which individuals you want to actually complete that action for. So I can choose to send an email to John, Julia, and Michelle only versus all the people who were attended or all the people who would withdrawn. If I press continue, the action will function the similar way as before. So as you can see here, I have the 3 email addresses added to the email automatically, and I can now type in my email to be sent to them. So an enhancement to existing functionality to again improve the usability of the tool. This is very handy in cases that you want to click or print a merge or waiver document or any type of merge document for only certain individuals that have not submitted that information yet. So same as we discussed, you can choose individuals and then choose your document that you want to print. As we mentioned earlier, you can print or create any document of your choice and have access to it from this window. Okay, moving on to the next enhancement that we've released is a minor enhancement to an existing report that a lot of you guys I know have been a big fan of. So we have a report called Activity Registration Summary. This report gives you an ability to better understand what type of events you're running and have all the information necessary for those courses and programs, such as the name, the location, how many people have registered into it, how many people have withdrawn or attended, and also all the fees associated with that event that you collected, from the registration fees to the extras that relate to that event. This report can be grouped or filtered in a variety of different ways. You can choose to only have activities that are confirmed or maybe canceled, or for certain categories within your calendars, or calendars within your calendars, or services. So a lot of different functionality to give you the ability to really pick and choose what type of data you want to see, and also using the grouping how you want to see that information. Perhaps you want to see your revenue based on service name, so you can simply choose grouping by service name, and as you see here, you can see the service headers and the totals related to those services. Or perhaps you want to see it based on the instructor, maybe for commission purposes or things like that. So I can see instructor Sally Smith has this many programs that they run within the range of times that I have and the criteria that I've selected on top, with a total revenue value of $52,000. Now what we've done based on requests, we've just added 2 more columns to this report, which is start and end for the entire course. So if I'm running an event from, even if my range is from January to August 15th, I can see that we have a course that with Cozy Corner Preschools that starts in March and ends in December 14th of 2016 for a certain dollar value. So small minor change, but we know very, very useful for you to be able to make better decisions and quicker decisions by analyzing the data a little bit quicker than before. All right, the next update that we have is really an enhancement to, again, existing functionality that we've had. We wanted to actually improve the usability by removing one of the limitations that we were forced to put in PerfectMind at some point. So if you guys have been using PerfectMind, you know it was actually, we didn't have the ability for you to be able to change only one occurrence of entire series to just a random date. So perhaps you had a class that was running every Mondays. You were not able to before, unless you were, encountering a conflict manager, to change one of the Mondays to maybe a Wednesday. You were able to change the time by viewing the sessions. So you had the ability to go into an event, which you do still, go on the repeat pattern, and click view sessions and change the time, but there was limitations on the date field. So what we've done now, as of this release, you will be able to, on the calendar, click on any occurrences, choose that session only, and now you have the ability, where you didn't have before, to just randomly change that date to any other date, just for that occurrence. So still won't break your occurrences, your course, your registrants will still be the same, but you are able to completely make that change according to whatever business case or need that you've had. So as you can see, we made that change, and right now that course is offered in 2 complete different dates for just, or days in, in a certain week. If I go into that event now, oops, sorry, and click view sessions, you will now also see the dates reflecting that time, that change that we just went to. So small change. I know some of you guys were encountering problems with having that limitation, so we've improved that. As of our next release, which will be the September release, we're also going to allow you to make the change on the date right from view sessions screen. So on this screen right now, where you have the ability to change the facility, the instructor, and the time, as of our next release, we're also going to open up this date as well. So you will be able to just change the date right from this screen as well. Okay, the next change and enhancements that we have is related to the list view. So the list view is something that we've had in PerfectMind for a number of years now. We've had some feedbacks received in regards to this area. One of the feedback was to be able to choose a certain range of time, because by default this window only shows a week at a time. So what you will be able to do now moving forward is to choose custom range, and this gives you the ability to choose any range of dates that you wish. So maybe perhaps from June till today, and you will be able to see a list of all those courses that fall within that series of dates. So again, minor change, but definitely a great improvement to be able to make, again, your day-to-day life a lot easier than it is today, and for you to be able to access the information you're looking for a little bit quicker. And lastly, we have now ability for you to cancel an entire course at the same time, and also provide the withdrawal fee or the cancellation fee to all the individuals of that course at the same time as well. So historically, we had the ability for you to cancel or withdraw an individual, but you had to actually choose a withdrawal fee and refund manually one by one for the individuals who were registered into that program. So as of the new enhancements, there's no need of doing such. So we're going to go into one occurrence of that event. You can do this with, so let's go into the series. Now we want to choose to cancel this course. As you can see here now, by me changing the status to cancel, you see three different options. You see essentially do not cancel, so perhaps there was a mistake of you making that change, so you want to cancel that action and go back to how the data was previously. You can do that with also clicking on the X button on the corner of the screen. You have ability for you to refund to all attendees at the same time. So this is a new functionality that we've added. So in case you don't want to go one by one to be able to choose how you want to refund the customer, you can refund them all at the same time. So again, a lot of different business cases. Perhaps you had a workshop scheduled if you're a yoga studio and the workshop is getting canceled, or perhaps an instructor training program that you had and people registered into, but you did not achieve your minimum requirement to run that program, and you want to cancel and refund everyone. For those in the martial art industry, perhaps again you have a seminar or a workshop that again is canceled and not being conducted, as most of the classes in the martial arts industry would be free as part of the membership. So you don't actually have a fee collected for the class itself to be able to refund, but any event that you're collecting fees for, as I mentioned, any sessions, any workshops, any seminars that you might have a guest speaker coming in and perhaps your speaker canceled, and you want to be able to refund all the funds related to that event. If you want to also deal with individuals one by one, as we had before, you will be able to click this button and you can actually choose a refund for each individual completely different than the other. Perhaps you don't want to provide the full refund to certain individuals, or you want to maybe refund their credit cards versus refunding as credit. One note to have: when you choose refund to all, you have some options to be able to choose between remaining amounts. So this is a proration amount that's automatically calculated, or a full amount, so you want to give the entire course back. So proration, how it works: perhaps you have a course for $300 and for 10 days. If 2 days have already gone by and you want to just cancel the 8th remaining session, by default, if you choose remaining sessions, we're going to give the funds back for only 8 sessions and keep the 2 that the service has been rendered for. But you can override that depending on permission, or you can completely manage your own calculation. So maybe you want to give them back for only 5 sessions or a certain fixed amount. By going to the next step, as you can see, you have the ability to credit. So this action can only be done on credit. we can't refund everyone's credit card back on this action. If you go back individually and refund them, you will be able to refund the same payment method that they paid you originally. But in a group process, you will be able to credit everyone back. So there will be a funds sitting on their account as credit that they can use for future purchases, or if you wish, you can cash out the credit and by writing them a check or using cash. So I'm going to just cancel out of this screen just for as this is a demo account, but by me pressing the cancel button, you will see every individual listed as refunded and the status of the course changing to canceled. Okay, so this concludes the features that we have available for all customers. So everything that you've seen up to this point will be provided and available to every customer of PerfectMind, no matter of the version of the PerfectMind system you're using or the application that you're using. So no matter if it's a yoga application, martial art application, fitness application, or Parks and Rec. The next few features that we have would be specifically to our enterprise customers, universities, or municipalities that are using our enterprise module. Okay, starting with the first functionality, we have subsidies. Subsidies are a module that we've had, but we wanted to always enhance the functionality of our subsidy module. So subsidy could be a scholarship or again any type of subsidy program that the individual receives due to a variety of different reasons, and then they can use that fund towards purchases of memberships, products, or registration to different courses. So typical and common subsidies or scholarship program are gifted athletes or maybe low-income families or really any type of, or former military. So depending on really your city, your state, your country, your county, there's a variety of different options that are out there. There's also corporate subsidies like, home depot programs or things like that as well that you might be part of or working with. So the first step is creating a subsidy program. So you will be able to go under the billing option and find subsidy as one of the options that are available to you. The wording that we use is subsidy. I know some of you guys refer to this functionality as scholarships. Same exact functionality, it's just different naming to be able to represent it. So from this screen, you will be able to create a brand new program. So let's say, LAP program is one of the programs that we offer at this organization. So you can simply name that program. Now the next step is for you to define what type of products or purchases you want this subsidy to be able to be eligible for. So you can choose events, memberships, facility rentals, or products. The next option is when you want this to be activated. So you can choose that, for it to be activated from a certain date and expire on a certain date. Most subsidy programs are in annual basis, so they start, let's say, in January 1st of 2016, and they run up until 31st of December 2016 as well. So this gives you the opportunity to expire it and start a brand new one. So with complete new allocation and new funds available to you as the total allocation and value. Total amount is what is the total balance of this subsidy program. So usually there's a budget, or there is essentially a limit that starts. You can leave it empty or put a very large amount if you have an unlimited value. I have seen that in the past, that some unique subsidies, they just don't have any limitations on the amount of funds that could be allocated. But if you don't have that, you will be able to simply choose the the amount of your choice or the maximum. So let's say for this subsidy we have a $10,000 maximum. The next step is maximum allocation amount. So what can each individual gets as a maximum amount. So you can only allow $500, let's say, per allocation. So each individual cannot get more than $500. Next is which complex or location does this work for. You can choose whatever complex or group of complex that can be using this subsidy program. The income account, so what income account do you want to use for this specific subsidy? So you can choose any GL account that you previously entered into PerfectMind. We have some rules. So rules are, can a non-resident use this subsidy? If so, you can just check that box. Can it be redeemed online? So if an individual is registering for an activity or buying a membership and they have subsidy on their account, can they use that subsidy towards that purchase? So you can check that if that's a functionality you want to allow. Allow for future payments. This is ability for you to use the subsidy for scheduled payments. So you want them, maybe the individual, to use the subsidy for their monthly payments or the monthly membership payments. You will be able to simply choose this option if you want to allow that. The next is if you want it to be redeemable by a contact or an account. Sometimes we have family subsidies or account subsidies, like again low-income family is one of the most common ones, or you have subsidies related to a certain individual. So you can choose here if an account can get it or a contact can get it. Lastly, what is the maximum minimum age? A lot of the times the subsidy programs have some sort of limitations in terms of age. So there's a children program, senior program, things like that. So you will be able to restrict the age group if you wish. If not, you can just leave it empty. But what we wanted to do, we wanted to also take the rules and restrictions to the next level as well. So although we went over some basic rules, but we wanted to actually allow you to create custom rules as well. So now, after you save a subsidy, you will be able to see this option, item rules, and choose and create as many rules as you want. So perhaps you want to create a rule specific for events. So you can say, although I said this is applicable to events, but the event should have a minimum cost of $50 and the registrant needs to at least pay for $5 of it, and the maximum that he can use is a percentage of 80%. And the number of use, so perhaps a lot of the subsidies I've seen out there that you can get one membership or one punch pass per year. So in those cases you could actually choose a membership and maximize put a maximum number of use of 1 or 2 depending on if there's any restrictions for it. As I mentioned, you can add multiple rules. So I've created the first rule, but I can simply go in and create, so see, this is the first rule that we've added. We can create now second rule and third rule. So one rule for memberships, one rule for events, maybe 2 rules for events. So you can actually, kind of get very advanced in terms of the rules and criteria that you have available to you. Upon creating the subsidy, now the next section is allocation. Allocation is very easy. You will be able to go to any individual customer, click on the customer, and go into subsidy allocation value and click new and choose the subsidy of your choice and put in the allocation amount. We do have validations here, so if you put obviously a value that's much greater than the total that the individual can receive, or the more than limitation that they have, you do receive the proper warning to be able to warn you of those mistakes, so we don't allow you to incorrectly allocate the wrong amount of subsidy. After the subsidy is allocated, I already had one subsidy for this individual. You can at any time see the subsidy, see what was the total amount allocated, what's left, and what was used so far. So you have access to that information at any given time. Now the next step is using that subsidy. So I can go in, let's say we want to buy a new membership. The membership that we want to buy is this ongoing adult membership. So I have a questionnaire attached to this, so that's why the questions came up. And as you can now see, let me just put it down payment. Subsidy would be one of the values available to you. So it's like, works very similar to any other payment record. The only difference is we actually have validations as well. So if the amount that you're inputting is more than the total that the customer has or more than the maximum amount based on the item rules that you had created, you will get the necessary warning. So this says the maximum amount is $50. So I can allocate the $50 and obviously choose another payment method of how they want to pay for the second payment. One thing actually I skipped is how you can determine, so we've set on the subsidy that this subsidy can be used for memberships, but perhaps as an organization you don't want it to be used for any membership, only certain memberships or certain activities or products. So what we've done, we've actually introduced a new checkbox as well called Allow Subsidy, where you can actually choose which memberships will be eligible for the subsidies program. You can do this also on activities as well. So as you're creating a brand new activity, you will have the option to allow that program to be paid for using a subsidy. All right, so very advanced functionality. This is by far the strongest and most functional subsidy program in the market. We all have still more plans to further improve it before end of this year by improving some of the allocation process and making that more usable as well. All right, so the next function is, I'm not going to demo it, just going to more talk about it, is adding extras to a payment plan. So we actually have added an enhancements that we did not support before. So this functionality that we did not support before was an ability for you to put your equipment as part of a payment plan of a membership, or sorry, a facility agreement. So perhaps if you're renting out 5 chairs or you have staff costs, historically that fee was due all upfront versus being broken down into the payment plan that you had allocated for that rental. So moving forward, as long as your item is listed under equipment, you will be able to add that item as part of your payment plan for that rental. Anything that's under product or membership would have to be due upfront due to the nature of those records. Speaking about rentals, we've also have added some enhancements to our rental structure. So as we discussed earlier, you have now the ability for you to pick and choose, and change, certain dates within an occurrence. So perhaps you have this open swim program, which is for, let's say for $10 a session, and every session to me, so it's $500 total. Every session is about an hour and a half long. So if I ever go and change this open swim session just for one of the days, and perhaps change the duration, which will affect the time or the fee, because now I'm going to actually be charging for more. So I have not actually set this up with the hourly fee, so I'm going to manually overwrite this fee. So if I do that at any given time, now I have a broken series, and this date is a little bit different than other days. So what will happen moving forward, if you're ever in this event and you're in the fee section, so under booking, and click on this, you will actually see new options here. You will see that although this session is for $10 session, but one of them has been manually changed. So it's trying to actually show you and tell you that one of the occurrences is different than $10. And if you click on the fee breakdown, you will see every day of that series, or every occurrence of that series, and you will see that one day that's different. So if I ever change all the fees together, that day will be unaffected because it's been already manually overwritten. Another place you can see this is in the agreement page. So on the agreement page, if you click on the fee, here we also have a fee breakdown. So you can actually see every day and every occurrence, and you will be able to see that one day that the time is different and the fee is different as well. So again, improvement and enhancement to existing functionality for us to make it tool and PerfectMind a little bit easier for you to use and identify those unique scenarios and dealing with those unique scenarios. All right, so the last function that we have, item that we have for the demo today is a major release when it comes to our facility booking modules and facility booking online module. So as you guys have known, and in the past few demos that you've seen from me, we have ability for you. I'm just going to actually log out and go into a demo site so I can actually demo you guys our online facility booking module. So you have an ability to create widgets specifically for online facility booking, and this is an example of a widget that I had configured. This is a fully responsive widget as we discussed, so you can actually have the functionality delivered to your customer via any device. You will be able to choose in search, maybe facilities that to conduct birthday parties in, or meetings in, or for on a certain location, or certain type of facilities, or they contain certain type of amenities. And you see the options that are available to you, and from this screen you will be able to choose the option that you want to see more about and complete the booking. So all of this were existing functionality that we've had. The new functionality that we released is a new type of booking where it's going to actually show as requires approval. So how you actually enable this, it starts from how you are setting up your facilities itself. So under Manage Facilities, for every facility that you create, you actually have this option under the booking screen. So these options under booking setup, you first have the ability to choose if it should be shown online or not by choosing if it's staff only, members, or public. So if you want it to actually be on a widget, you probably want to actually choose the public option. The next section is ability for you to choose your online booking option. You have 4 different options available as part of PerfectMind. You have allow reservation. So allow reservation is what we've historically had, giving you the ability to simply allow the customer to choose a time, choose the facility, choose the time, and complete the booking by providing the financial information as well. The next option is allowing reservations with approval. So on the same example as before, so the customer will be able to go online, find the facility of their choice, find the time that's available, but instead of completing the booking by paying for it, they can request a booking, and the request will come to your admins, and the admins have the ability to approve that rental or not, or by denying it. So this is a functionality that we've just released, and we're going to go into the details of it in a few seconds. The next option is if you just want to show the information and availability, but you do not want to allow customers to do any type of booking. So this is common also for bigger facilities. So you have the ability to do that as well, and the individual would be able to simply contact you to complete the booking. And lastly, perhaps you don't want to show the availability either, and you only want to show facility information such as the description, the image, the hours of operation, and amenities. So you would have the ability to do that as well. So lastly, you have some other functionality that you have access to, such as reservation starts in X amount of days. So you want to be able to, you can have the ability to restrict how many days ahead of the reservation someone can actually book. So for example, you can only book 2 days in advance. So this will give you the ability to not have last minute booking online and not having the ability to prepare for that booking. So you can say that the customer has ability not to book today, not to book tomorrow, but only book from 2 days ahead and further. The next option, reserve, ends in X amount of days. So if this is putting the end restriction. So you have up from 2 to 14 days to book. Anything past that, you won't be able to book ahead of time. The last option is display, ends in X amount of days. So if you want to show the availability, so you have up to 14 days to perhaps complete the booking, but maybe you want to show 30 days of availabilities on the calendar. So again, ability for you to customize how you want the online booking experience to show. From that point, if you have configured those options, as I mentioned, you can see this little note on the bottom of that certain facility. By you clicking the availability option, you can see a lot of information. Again, this is fully responsive design. So you see little information on top about your organization, the image for the facility, the hours of operation, amenities, the location of the facility, for map purposes or direction purposes, the services that will be allowed in this facility, the number of people that will be attending the session, so you can choose 50, 100. This also has a verification as well, so if you have this value set in your services, the system will be able to provide a warning if the individual is putting more than the maximum capacity of that service. And now you see a list of facilities available to you or times available. So the gray areas are the times that have already been booked. The buttons where you see reserve are areas that you will be able to book. So I can choose reserve, and as you see, it blocks a time. And from this screen onwards, I can either change my mind, click new time, and choose another time, and complete the request to complete it. Here, obviously, I log in if I'm a returning customer, or I can sign up if I'm a brand new customer. Just signing up with some fake information, and you will be able to go to the process of answering the questionnaire, choosing your fees if there are multiple fees, or there are extras. Perhaps you want to, so this is a good setup because I have a fee or an extra that's required, which is janitorial fee or cleaning fee perhaps, but there's some extras like, extra drop-ins that are non-required, so I can pick and choose to add those if I wish. And you will be able to complete the booking, as you can see, by going to step by step. One thing to note also, again, minor change that we did for this release is we've improved the navigation for the online portal as well. So now it shows your logo versus just PerfectMind logo. Now this organization, and which is being my demo account, I actually use PerfectMind logo, so that hence why it is listed as PerfectMind. But this will be fully branded as your organization name and information. And these navigation, we've actually made just some UI changes to it to make it a little bit more visible and easier to use. Now going back to this process, I can complete the booking by putting my financial information. By the way, this is not correct credit card value, so we're all good here. So I'm just gonna put in some information here to complete this transaction. And voila, the rental is done. You can actually attach a facility agreement here, and in this last screen we actually get the customer to sign that facility agreement as well. But going back to the admin side of things, now we have a new option called pending reservations under facilities. If you go on the pending reservations, you see the reservations that has been created. So as you see, this last one was the one that we just went through ourselves. You have an ability to here add more columns. For example, you want to have client name. So as you can see, brand new customer that we joined or added, you can simply see them as a line item. from this screen, you actually have a lot of shortcuts for usability purposes. So as first of all, you can filter. So you can say that I only want to see reservations for this time frame or for this type of service or the calendar. But you will be able to simply click on the facility calendar or contract name, and you will be able to access that facility contract and be able to make a better decision if you want to approve this or not, as you have the approve button right in the screen as well. The other thing you can do, you can click on John, which is a client name, and go into the customer name itself to be able to better determine who this individual is and if you want to approve that rental or not. Sorry, going back here. And lastly, we have this show in calendar option where by clicking on this, we'll open up your calendar and give you the ability to assess the rental within the calendar, to making sure perhaps in the related facilities or rooms next to it, maybe you don't have, the room being used for someone else. Lastly, you can click approve. If you choose to approve it, as you can see, the rental now has been approved, or you can undo it if you made a mistake, or deny it. So by denying the request, the rental will come out of the list, or the request of the rental will come out of the list. So very in advanced functionality for you to be able to really make the process of your online booking better. As we discussed and showed you, you can actually have different experiences depending on, just going to go for each facility. So perhaps some facilities you want to allow this functionality, a full reservation, or some facilities you want to have only request to reserve. So you can pick and choose what works best for you, and the options will be reflected on the online booking module. So we only have a few more minutes left at this time. If you have any questions, please type in your question now, and I'll be more than happy to go over those questions. One thing while we wait for questions, so far we have not received anything. A very small change that we've also made, which is in regards to managing the schedule. Now this schedule section, as you know, it's available on staff, on locations, on facilities, and a variety of different areas, and even your organization as well. So we've now have an ability for you to just edit them. We actually did not have this ability before. You had to delete them and add a new one if there was a change in the calendar. So very, very small change, but it can save you a lot of headaches, as it was also feedback that I had submitted. So very minor change. There's a lot of minor changes in the system that we have not had a chance to actually go over in our meeting today, in our demo today, but you will notice in different areas of the system and be able to take advantage of it right away. There's a question from Mr. Shields. Is there any plans to make PM responsive? Many of our students view on their phones and tablets. So my question would be, what area of PerfectMind? So in short, yes, our entire plan of PerfectMind is to have every area of PerfectMind responsive. Currently, some of the areas of PerfectMind has the mobile versus desktop view, and some areas are responsive, but our immediate plan is to making the client experience fully responsive. So all booking modules today, as you saw with like facility booking or course booking or appointment booking, which we covered last release, are fully responsive. Areas like profiles would become responsive in the next few releases, and so that's our primary focus first. Our online booking, the POS module, as of next release in September or maybe October, depending on quality check, will also become completely responsive as well. So you will be able to sell items of any type, from any device, no matter of essentially the type of the screen or the size of the screen is using. But the other objects in areas like profiles will also soon follow to become responsive. Okay. We don't have any more questions for today. On behalf of PerfectMind, I thank you for attending today's webinar. We hope you liked the features that you've seen. Please continue submitting feedback to us, making us better and making us and allowing us to help you by delivering a better product that can satisfy more of your business cases. So continue providing the feedback as you have been to our social media channel, to our actually our idea portal, where you can access by going to perfectmind.aha, I want to say .io. Yes, so where you will be able to sign up and actually submit your feedback of any area that you want to see, or both on existing ideas. So variety of different channels. We'll share that also on our social media channels as well, in our blog, so you have access to be able to access that information. But on behalf of Perfect Mind, we want to thank you again for attending today's webinar, and hope to see you guys next time.